Thank you for joining us at ATCG Solutions. Today we're going to cover SAP projects. Are you ready? We're going to go through SAP project implementation strategy and timeline. Agenda. Reality of ASAP methodology. What are the phases of projects? What are the deliverables in each phase of the project and length of a typical SAP project? What is ASAP methodology? ASAP stands for Accelerated SAP. Its purpose is to help design SAP implementation in the most effective manner possible. Its goal is to effectively optimize time, people, quality, and other resources using a proven methodology to implement. ASAP focuses on tools and training wrapped up in a 5-phase process-oriented roadmap for guiding implementation. The roadmap is composed of 5 well-known consecutive phases: project preparation, business blueprint, realization, final preparation, go-live, and post-go-live support. ASAP deliveries. What are the deliverables in each phases? Phase 1, project preparation. Usually in this phase, you'll be hiring your architect. For example, if your scope is finance, HR, and operations, you will hire 3 architects, 1 architect for each area. These architects will get together and come up with a solution where they will also create a proof of concept to make sure these solutions will work together efficiently. Also, during this time, they will also give recommendation on hardware needs, such as RAM space. Phase 2 of the project is business blueprint. Usually during this period, you'll be hiring developers onshore and offshore. During this phase, the deliverables are functional specifications. After a blueprint session with the business owners of each area, a functional specification will be produced. This can be stored either in SharePoint or SOMAN or in a common folder that's shared within the organization. Phase 3, realization. At this point, all of your developers should have been hired already. They will be focusing on converting functional specs into technical specs. Also, after the technical spec is completed, configuration for baseline and some custom codes will be completed. Unit testing will be completed during this phase also. What is unit test? Unit tests are done usually by developers. Integration testing is also done in this phase. What is integration testing? Integration testing is done by the business owners who gave the architect and developers the functional specifications. Final preparations. Final preparations are user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing are done by the actual end users. Given an example, if you work in finance, a user acceptance testing is usually done by a finance analyst all the way to a controller. At this point, you will also be given training and change management control documentations. Training is usually done about 3 weeks to 4 weeks before go live, and it usually lasts 2 to 3 weeks, depends on how big the go live is. Before go live, a week before go live, you will be doing mock run preparation to make sure data is loading correctly in a pre-production system. Now phase 5, go live and support. Go live should be the most exciting or the most unexciting day of your life. Depends on how well the go live is going. Usually, if go live is going well, it's a quiet go live. If go live is not going well, be prepared to stay at the office overnight. Post go live support usually lasts about a month after go live. Now we will go into details about each phase and what to expect in each phase and the duration of each phase. Phase 1, project preparation. In a typical 13-month implementation, it takes 2 months. The key personnel involved in project preparations are the sales team, the client employee, project manager, functional consultant, architect. The sales team is engaged in case when a functional consultant is suggesting a software or a add-on that needs to be purchased in order for the solution delivered correctly. Client employee is there along with the project manager is there to agree or disagree with the suggestions. The deliverables are scope documentations. Usually a company already have a existing ERP system. A gap analysis will be done during this point of time. A gap analysis as is and to be will be completed, and the to be will be the future landscape and architecture. Proof of concept. A sandbox is set up to test out some of the ideas that the functional consultant will push out. Identify solution and hardware need. Again, hardware sizing exercise and purchase software and hardware. Phase 2, blueprint. Blueprint, surprisingly, most companies do not focus on blueprint, which causes majority of the implementation to fail. In a typical 13-month implementation, blueprint should last at least 4 months. I cannot emphasize enough that blueprint is the most critical phase, because if blueprint has gone wrong, realization and go live will be at jeopardy. Key personnel here are functional consultant and client employee. Client employee are usually the SME of their area. SME stands for subject matter expert. Usually someone who has been in the company for a while and understands the business process. The deliverables are functional specifications. Each functional specification document is essential to outline your future business process and business requirement. Do not take this point of time to streamline your business process. Before blueprint, you should know your business process, or else you will drag along the business blueprint period. Usually, functional consultants are not business process consultants. Therefore, you may be wasting a lot of time and money in this phase if your business process is not complete before blueprint phase. Proof of concept continues. At this time, functional consultants will find out more about the business requirements, and they'll continue testing out some of their ideas in the sandbox. Hardware setup. At this time, the environment should be set up, the connectivity should be tested, and a sign-off from the functional consultants should be complete. Phase 3, realization. In a typical 13 months implementation, it lasts 5 months due to development and testing. There are a lot of coordination needs to be done during realization. In this phase, no more blueprint should be done. This is essential to control scope. Key personnel are functional consultant, ABAP developers onshore and offshore, client employees, and software developers. There are usually 2 phases in a realization: baseline configuration and custom configuration. Baseline configuration is what SAP as standard delivered, and just because it's out of the box, don't think that you not have to configure before it's able to be used. Custom configurations are usually identified during the blueprint phase, and an ABAP developer is needed for custom configuration. And during this phase, technical specification will be done. Usually this is hand off to an offshore developer or an ABAP developer to complete their development. A custom configuration will always be organized in a RICE list. A RICE list will specify what kind of custom configuration it is. A RAID log is also completed during this phase. I will go into what RICE is. RICE is usually a form, an enhancement, a report, and etc. A RAID is essential in this period because it actually will document the risk, assumption, and issue and dependency during your development. During this phase, you also do your unit tests. Usually the developers and the functional consultant will work together to test their development. And compare it to their technical and functional specification to make sure they're delivering the solution that the business has requested. During this time, they also write a test script for integration and unit testing. So there is visibility on what they have tested, and it's essential for the key people to sign off, so there is no questions later on. Integration testing, a functional consultant will work with the client employee. When I say super users, they're usually the SME, the same people who gave you the functional specs. And they will go through the test script and get signed off. During this period, there's also the bug fixing. Of course, you'll find issues during unit tests and integration testing. It is best practice to get your bug fixed within 48 hours, or else it should be should be in either phase 2 or should be a CR, change request. Phase 4, final preparation. Usually take 2 months in a 13-month implementations. I have seen many projects that only takes 1 month. During this phase, user acceptance testing. Usually the client employees, the end users. Like I said, if it's a finance or HR operations, let's take HR for example. This time, maybe a payroll clerk trying to process payroll. Training and change management is essential in this phase. For adoption success, training is extremely critical in this phase, and also be able to have a proper change management from the previous ERP system to the current ERP system. There will be a mock cutover, which will go over usually a weekend to show how long it would take for a actual go-live cutover. The final bug fix should be finished by now and transports to production. Go-live and post-go-live. Go-live usually takes 1 day. The 2 months is usually post-go-live support. Usually it's client employees with ABAP developers. Client employees usually will use the tool and find some issues. Therefore, they will reflect it through a help desk system. A ABAP developer or a SAP developer will address these bug fixes. Depends on the priority. There's also system maintenance. At this time, you could actually update your system or do any kind of maintenance on your system, but please do not do any system updates or changes during the project. This could cause a lot of issues with transports and system alignment. Other methodologies. ASAP is not the only methodology that are used for SAP. They're cyclical, which means you build, you put into production, you build, you put into production, you build, you put into production. There's rapid. A lot of times people build in production and then they transport it into development and put it back into production. And then a lot of times there's chaos. So ASAP methodology is highly recommended for a successful SAP project. Thank you again for joining us at ATCG Solutions. For additional information or help in your next project, please contact us at info@atcgsolutions.com.